In the center or main section of the console, we have the focus channel. Besides having the same fader and 6 rotary encoders as any other channel, it has a dedicated dynamics and 7-band EQ panel, as well as a full touch-sensitive surround panner.
The panner can either be operated by either one of the 2 touch-sensitive joysticks, or you can actually just use the touchscreen with your finger.
So we'd like to do some EQ to the chorus, lead vocal, and double, and maybe a little bit of effects and maybe some dynamics. And Gil's in the sweet spot, and we're going to just shoot those over to him using focus mode. So normally in select mode, as we showed you, you could make a bunch of selections or double-click to rename. By toggling this button into focus mode now, I simply select the channel I want, and it sends the copy to that focus section.
And the focus channel, is like we said before, is a channel strip like any one of the other ones on the console, except it resides in the center section. Also tied to this, though, and not only do you have the 6 rotary encoders for that channel strip, but you also have a dedicated dynamics and EQ editing panel that it does not matter whose dynamics or whose EQ plugin comes here, as long as they're coded correctly for the Icon system, you have dedicated knobs for those specific parameters that you need to get to with these types of process. For instance, with our dynamics, we are using on this particular channel, we have the TC Electronic TubeTech compressor emulator. We have a dedicated knob that controls threshold, one that controls attack, release, ratio, makeup gain. And it wouldn't matter if this was here or a Digirac compressor or a Waves compressor or McDSP, these dedicated controls are always going to control the same things. And it works the exact same way with the EQ panel. We actually have 2 different EQs on this particular track. We're using the Digirac EQ 3/7 band that's more of a surgical style of EQ that controls your low, mid, high mids and highs, plus your high pass, low pass filters. As well as, if we cycle over, we have also an API 550B emulation plugin from Waves that is a 4-band plugin that maps out perfectly to the low, mid, and high band. So once again, it doesn't matter whose EQ plugin comes up here. These knobs are always going to do the exact same thing. So when I grab this knob, I know that I'm grabbing the low frequency gain control. When I grab this knob over here, I know I'm grabbing the high frequency gain control. Always in the same place.
That's a great point. If we cycle back to the Digirac just for a second, you can also see that this button here enables or disables that single band. So every band has a mode to pop it in or out, a gain, frequency, and Q. Some 7-band EQs will also let you switch from shelving to a notching filter on the high pass or on the high shelving and low shelving.
Let's go ahead and maybe do a little work on this EQ. So we've got the lead vocal focused over here. I'm going to solo that up.
Sure.
And hit play.
So why 2 EQs, Gil?
Well, I tend to like to use one just to find my problem spots. Might have like a mid bump that I want to get rid of, which I think EQs like this Digirac EQ 3/7 band is great for that type of thing. So, for instance, I come over here and let's just bump the low mids up a little bit and narrow the Q down. And we can kind of look around for that kind of some like honky mid frequency. And then we'll just cut a little bit of that out to kind of clear that up. Now, what we'll also do then is we'll cycle over to this API, which to me is going to give you more tonal control or vibe. So we might want to like come over here and boost up the top end around 5K. Maybe come over here and get some low mids. But maybe come over here around 100 hertz and drop it down just a little bit. Take some of the low end out.
Okay. All right, let's roll this and hear how it's affecting it. So we're going to... Here's with everything. Without it. No EQs, no compressor. And I like what it's doing.
That's a great feature to be able to bypass all that with just one button. That's definitely something you cannot do in the software. It's something that's unique to the Surface itself.
Now, we've also got this double. We probably should use where we're at as a starting point. So it's real easy to bang both of these settings over there quickly.
Right.
I can hold the modifier Shift Command. The left button, the select button, becomes copy, and the right button is paste. So I'm going to copy each individual plugin and paste them as our starting point.
Now, if you'll go ahead and focus that double over here to the center.
I'm also going to pan them slightly as well, right from this section, since I can grab both of them.
I'm going to come over here to the EQ3, and I'm actually going to put in the high-pass filter. And just kind of really drastic roll off of some of the low-end information on that double.
So we'll just listen to the double for a second. All right.
And let's pull it back a little bit. Let's put the other one back in, and let's just kind of blend it in so it's not so obvious.
Oh, bring it more. I want more. There you go. And let's pop into the sends view and dial in from the center section, maybe.
All right, so here on the double, let's add some reverb. We'll add a little bit of slap, maybe some delay too.
Okay, I'll focus you over the main one.
Same thing, we'll switch over, add some reverb, maybe a little slap, delay too.
Now, Gil, quickly, if you wanted to bump the focus fader over yourself, how could you do that?
Well, it's actually pretty easy to do. If you hold the command key down on either the module or the keyboard, you can actually use the nudge by one buttons to actually just nudge
each channel
over into the focus channel very, very simply.
Cool.
So let's actually add that back into the mix and see what that sounds like.
Excellent. So that's a little bit of using the focus fader, copying and pasting plugin settings.
And being able to easily go in and dial in everything about any one channel that you want to bring in, doing it right from the center section in the sweet spot.